Hey, so, yeah, I was on Facebook and I just saw this post saying Osama Bin Laden's dead, and I was like, what, really? And so I went on my friend's Facebook and I was like, what channel did you see it on? And he said News Channel 39, and I looked up and they're saying, yeah, Osama Bin Laden was killed last Sunday, and they're just releasing it to the media, and they had to confirm his death and everything. And so basically, Bin Laden was the leader of Al Qaeda, the terrorist network behind the September 11, 2001 attacks on the United States. Um, U.S. officials said their forces have the body of bin Laden. And basically, it's a big deal because we've been chasing this guy down since 2001 because he killed over 3,000 of our people in the World Trade Center's towers, like when they planes. And we apparently we bombed him and he died, and then we took the bodies and we found his body. And ever, ever even before September 11, 2001, Bin Laden was already on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list, and he had been implicated in a series of deadly high-profile attacks that had grown in their intensity and success during the 1990s. They included a deadly firefight with the U.S. soldiers in Somalia in October 1993, the bombings of two U.S. Embassies in East Africa that killed 224 in August 1998, and an attack on the USS Cold that killed 17 sailors in October 2000. So basically, FBI has been watching this guy ever since 2001, and or even before 2001. And then Bin Laden eluded capture for years, once reportedly slipped out of a training camp in Afghanistan just hours before a barrage of U.S. cruise missiles destroyed it. On September 11, sources said the evidence immediately pointed to bin Laden. Within days, those close to the investigation said they had proof. 6 days after the attack, President George W. Bush made clear Osama bin Laden was the number one suspect. Um, Bush said he wanted justice, and Osama bin Laden was born in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in 1957, the 17th of 52 children in a family that had struck rich in the construction business. His father, Mohammed bin Laden, was a native of Yemen who had immigrated to Saudi Arabia as a child. He became a billionaire by building his company into the largest construction firm in the Saudi kingdom. As Saudi Arabia became flush with oil money, yeah, so too did the Bin Laden family business, as Osama's father cultivated and exploited connections within the royal family. One of the elder Bin Laden's four wives, described as Syrian in some accounts, was Osama's mother. The young Bin Laden inherited a share of the family's fortune at an early age after his father died in an aircraft accident. The Bin Ladens were noted for their religious commitment. In his youth, Obama studied with Muslim scholars. Two of the family business' most prestigious projects, also known as the Lasting Impression, the renovations of mosques at Mecca and Medina, Islam's two holiest places. And basically, uh, as a young man attending college in Jeddah, Osama's interest in religion started to take a political turn. One of his professors was Abdullah Azam, a Palestinian scholar who was a key figure in the rise of new pan-Islamic religious movement. Azam founded an organization to help the Mujahideen fighting to repel the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan in 1979. Bin Laden soon became the organization's top financier, using his family connections to raise money. He left as a volunteer for Afghanistan at 22, joining the U.S.-backed called Arms Against the Soviets. He remained there for a decade, using construction equipment from his family's business to help the Muslim guerrilla forces build shelters, tunnels, and roads through the rugged Afghan mountains, and at times taking part in a battle. In the late 1980s, bin Laden founded Al Qaeda, Arabic for the base. an organization that CNN terrorism analyst and author Peter Bergen says had fairly prosaic beginnings. One of its purposes was to provide documentation for Arab fighters who fought against the Soviets in Afghanistan, including death certificates. Al-Qaeda, under bin Laden's leadership, ran a number of guest houses for these Arab fighters and their families. It also operated training camps to help them prepare for the fight against the Soviets. In the early 1990s, with the disintegration of the Soviet Union, bin Laden turned his sights onto the world's remaining superpower, the United States. War-hardened and victorious, he returned to Saudi Arabia following the Soviet retreat from Afghanistan. In a 1997 CNN interview, bin Laden declared a jihad or holy war against the United States. The Iraqi invasion of Kuwait provided the next turning point in Osama Bin Laden's career. When the United States sent troops to Saudi Arabia for battle against Iraq in the Persian Gulf War, bin Laden was outraged. He had offered his own men to defend the Saudi kingdom, but the Saudi government ignored his plan. Then he began to target the United States for its presence in Saudi Arabia, home to the Muslim holy sites of Mecca and Medina. With bin Laden's criticisms creating too much friction with the Saudi government, he and his supporters left for Sudan in 1991. There, according to U.S. officials, Al-Qaeda began to evolve into a terror network. With bin Laden at its helm tapping into his personal fortune, bin Laden operated a range of businesses involving construction, farming, and exporting. Although the U.S. government was unaware of it at the time, bin Laden was already actively working against it. According to his court testimony, he sent one of his top lieutenants, Mohammed Attav, to help train Somalis to attack U.S. peacekeeping troops stationed there. Bin Laden would later hint during an interview with CNN of his involvement in the deaths of 18 U.S. Army Rangers in 1993 in Mogadishu. Also in 1993, terrorists bombed the World Trade Center in New York, killing 6 and wounding hundreds. Eventually, bin Laden would be named along with many others as an unindicted co-conspirator in that case. The masterminder of the attack, Ramzi Youssef, would later be revealed to have close ties to Al-Qaeda. In 1996, bin Laden took his war against the United States a step further. By then, he had been stripped of his Saudi citizenship and forced by Sudanese officials, under pressure from the United States, to leave that country. He returned to Afghanistan, where he received harbor from the fundamentalist Taliban who were ruling the country. By then, the United States had begun to recognize a growing threat from bin Laden, citing him as a financier of terrorism in a government report. According to reports, however, the U.S. government passed up a Sudanese government offer to turn over bin Laden because at the time it had no criminal charges against him. The Saudis, according to an interview with their former intelligence chief in Time magazine, also declined to take custody of bin Laden. In Afghanistan in 1996, bin Laden issued a fatwa, or religious order, entitled Declaration of War Against Americans Who Occupy the Lands of Two Holy Mosques. There is no more important thing than pushing the American occupier out, decreed the fatwa, which praised Muslim youths willing to die to accomplish that goal. Youths only want one thing: to kill U.S. soldiers so they can get to paradise. In his first interview with Western media in 1997, bin Laden told CNN that the United States was unjust, criminal, and tyrannical. The U.S. today, as a result of the arrogant atmosphere, has set a double standard, calling whoever goes against it is injustice a terrorist. He said in the interview it wants to occupy our country, steal our resources, impose on us agents to rule us. In February 1998, he demanded his target list, issuing a new fatwa against all Americans, including civilians. There were to be killed wherever they might be found, anywhere in the world, he decreed. The new fatwa announced the creation of the World Islamic Front for Jihad against the Jews and the Crusaders, and was co-signed by Dr. Ayman al-Zawahiri, head of Egypt's Al-Jihad terrorist group. 6 months later, explosions destroyed the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, killing 224 people and injuring 4,000 more. U.S. prosecutors later indicated bin Laden for masterminding those attacks. By the time three hijacked airliners struck the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, symbols of the U.S. business and military might, bin Laden's terror network had become global in its research. And moving along, in statements released from his hideouts in Afghanistan after September 11th, bin Laden denied al-Qaeda was responsible for the attacks. A videotape of bin Laden, later obtained and released by the U.S. government, however, showed him saying he knew the September 11 attacks were coming, chuckling and gloating about their toll. Even with his knowledge of the construction trade, he said with a smile he did not expect the twin towers of the World Trade Center to collapse completely. And speaking in an earlier video recording that was first broadcast over the Arabic language television network Al Jazeera, bin Laden said America is filled with fear from the north, south, east, and west. Thank God for that. These events have split the world into two camps, belief and disbelief, he said. America will never dream of know or taste security or safety unless we know safety and security in our land in Palestine. Bin Laden had taken advantage of his time in Afghanistan, cementing his ties to the Taliban. Moving down a little bit. The reward on his head grew to $25 million. Countless leaflets advertising the bounty were dropped from U.S. planes, which flew the impunity over Afghan skies. We're hunting him down, Bush said on November 19, 2001. He runs and he hides, but we've said repeatedly the noose is beginning to narrow. The net is getting tighter. But he eluded U.S. and allied authorities during the war in Afghanistan, vanishing in December 2001, apparently fleeing during the intensive bombing campaign in the rugged Tora Bora region near the border with Pakistan. He's alive or dead. He's in Afghanistan or somewhere else. The then Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld said in April 2002 when he asked about bin Laden's whereabouts. No more videos showing where bin Laden was released during the spring and summer of 2010. And there was speculation that he may have died during U.S. bombing raids in Afghanistan. But audio tapes released in October and November 2002, and broadcast on Al Jazeera were from him. U.S. government experts analyzed in the tapes and said the voice on the tapes were almost certainly bin Laden's. Moving on a little bit. On Sunday, the president said he ordered an operation carried out by a handful of U.S. troops to kill bin Laden in Pakistan. They did so after a firefight bringing al-Qaeda leader's body with them after their mission was complete. His demise should be welcomed by all who believe in peace and human dignity, Obama said in a speech announcing bin Laden's death. Justice has been done. So I basically just said so you guys know what what's happened, and I just want to make sure the facts were straight, and so you knew basically Obama, how Obama handled it, and how the U.S. troops took him down and everything. And so I got all that was from CNN.com, and I just basically dumbed it down a little bit. So, thank you. Bye.